It's FYF Sports, man. It's Lamont, and we back. We back with another video, man. We're just gonna be going through just some of these highlights, the Lakers and the Pacers game, and we're gonna just talk about the game. And as we allow these highlights to play, again, we obviously know the end result. Pacers won this game 116 to 111. As we go through this game, I'm just gonna be kind of breaking down some of the things that even early on in the preseason when the bubble first started that I highlighted that we now are starting to see come to fruition with the Los Angeles Lakers. Before we get started, make sure you guys hit the subscription button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Again, we're gonna drop these videos all the time. Again, we don't just cover the highlights, man. We come at this with a more unique perspective about the game of basketball. Again, we try not to look at it from a fan's perspective. We try not to be biased. We try to look at this from a purely basketball perspective, and we try to be fair to every player that's on the court. So we're going to go ahead and get started with these highlight clips. And as we play these highlight clips, as we start with these highlight clips, the first thing that I want to speak on is something that I mentioned. So it looks like the Pacers played great today. TJ Warren with another great game. This man is playing lights out basketball. He's been playing lights out basketball since the bubble was started. This is what I mean. When the Pacers came back to the NBA bubble, how many of the Indiana Pacers did you see on social media complaining about the accommodations? See, there were a lot of LeBron James haters out there on the side of everybody who was complaining about these accommodations. There were a lot of LeBron James haters who were right there standing with J.R. Smith and Joel Embiid, all these players who were crying and griping about the accommodations. You were right there with those guys. All right. And I said that's an indictment on the focus. I said they're not ready to play. And look at J.R. Smith. A lot of these LeBron James haters said, oh, J.R. Smith is perfect for LeBron James. He's going to come out there and ball. J.R. Smith has been completely irrelevant. The man who came into the bubble after being out of the league for almost 2 years, came in not focused. All right, we've heard that the Los Angeles Lakers are not having shoot-arounds, or they are having shoot-arounds that LeBron James and Anthony Davis at least don't have to participate in. If you play basketball at any level above high school, you know that shoot-arounds are extremely important for these teams. Shoot-arounds are not used when the term shoot-around is not used to go find your shot. No, shoot-arounds is typically basically a team meeting where we're discussing the strategy for the day, defensive assignments. We're discussing tendencies of players. We're discussing how we're going to guard in specific situations on pick and rolls. Are we going to hedge? Are we going to ice? Are we going to switch? When are we going to do this? If it's a guard-to-guard pick and roll, what are we going to do? If it's a guard-to-big pick and roll, what are we going to do? These are the things that you break down during shoot-around. So for all the people that think LeBron James and Anthony Davis are not getting warmed up properly because they're not going to shoot-around, well, that's not necessarily what a shoot-around is. And again, I think that they need to implement more shoot-arounds, and make it mandatory for players like Anthony Davis and LeBron James to be there, primarily because it shows leadership, and it shows that everybody's focused in on the same goal and on the same page. If you look at all the teams, when you look at Greg Popovich's teams, Brad Stevens' teams, these are all teams that are making it mandatory to go to shoot-around. Shoot-arounds are so important in the NBA that if you miss shoot-arounds, you're getting fined, you're getting suspended, and if you're a lower bench player, you could find yourself getting cut immediately for missing the shoot-around. That's how important they are. So again, I think LeBron James haters, again, they have all the reason in the world to be criticizing the Lakers and how they're playing. But I just think the inconsistencies of how they attack this Laker team, how they always find a narrative or a new way to attack LeBron James, even when he plays great, they find new ways to indict this man's game, even when he plays good. All right, and this is we're talking about LeBron James fans who bolster up players like Chris Webber, who bolster up players like Stephon Marbury, players who were perennial losers in their careers. These LeBron James haters will bolster losing players up, because they were able to fill the stat sheet up in losing efforts for the majority of their career or their entire careers, and claim that these guys are Hall of Fame level players. But when we talk about LeBron James, even when he puts up great numbers, the indictment on his game is, his style of play is hurting the team. he's placing AD in the corner on making him play from the perimeter. You know, well, the funny thing is, if anybody have watched Anthony Davis play, that's how he's always attacked. He's always attacked from the short corner. He's always attacked from the corner baseline. He's always done that everywhere in his career. All right, everywhere he's played, whether it's New Orleans, whether it's the Lakers, he's a face-up big who uses his quickness to get past bigs and attack the basket. Now, the reason why he attacks in this particular method is because of the matchup zone. He can't go post up on the low block and call for the ball. He'll just simply turn into a double team. He's going to get in foul trouble because guys are going to be flopping everywhere as soon as he turns his elbows to face up to the rim. So to avoid all of that, he plays from the outside and works himself in. Again, this is just simple basketball knowledge that I'm just trying to help you guys understand, because we have a lot of people spewing misinformation about the Los Angeles Lakers. We have a lot of people who are not owning up. They're not owning up or being accountable for some of the things that they did not call out or indict. So a lot of the things that you should have been indicting, such as J.R. Smith not being locked in, such as the Lakers bench players not playing hard in the preseason games, these were the true indictments. These are the things that you need to indict Anthony Davis and LeBron James for, as being the two leaders of that team. Because again, both LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they've had great games in this NBA bubble. What other Lakers have really had great games in this NBA bubble? Kyle Kuzma's maybe had one or two decent games. Quinn Cook had a good game today, dropped with 21 points. I honestly think Quinn Cook should be in the starting lineup, and LeBron James should go to power forward with Anthony Davis at center. But again, you know, a lot of people think Quinn Cook is just not ready, not good enough. Today he looked ready and he looked good enough, and he's one of the only guards on your team that's had championship level experience when he played with the Golden State Warriors. He knows how to play in those big moments. He knows how to play with great elite talent. He played with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant. He knows how to play with great players and find a role in a system. So why this man is not starting is beyond me. I think this is a combined effort. I think Frank Vogel has an offensive strategy that's very ineffective. It's easy for teams to guard. It's easy for teams to attack and exploit. All right. I think Anthony Davis, his energy and effort comes and goes. I think LeBron James, I think he needs to play off ball. And these are all things that I've said before. And again, I just try not to be biased in my explanation or my critiques and criticism of the Los Angeles Lakers. I try to be honest and fair. And today, LeBron James played great. 31-8-7 is a great game. It was Anthony Davis. For all you LeBron James haters, it was Anthony Davis who did not show up today, who failed to show up in the clutch. Not just in the clutch, for the entire game. 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Definitely not acceptable for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis should be seeking out his shot a lot more. And I know that he has his opportunities, especially when he's in the game by himself, and LeBron James is not in the game, to be that go-to guy. Even if he's just forcing the issue. Even if he's forcing the issue, attacking, he has to constantly attack to make teams honest on defense. If he's not making teams honest on defense and he gets passive, as we've seen him do time and time again in the past, then you're going to have problems going into this playoffs. Now, will I go as far as saying that the Lakers will lose in the first round? No, the Lakers will not lose to the Blazers in the first round. If you guys know anything about basketball, Anthony Davis has supreme confidence playing against the Portland Trail Blazers. For whatever reason, he has monster games. Again, the Portland Trail Blazers, over the last 5 years or so, have struggled to guard power forwards in the NBA. All right, struggled to guard power forwards in the NBA. I do not see that necessarily changing. Anthony Davis will easily dominate the Portland Trail Blazers. Again, there are certain teams that he gets geeked up to play. But when we're talking about an Indiana Pacers team, extremely well coached, they play extremely hard on defense. They do not stray away from their game plan, and they allow their defense to dictate their offense as opposed to their offense to dictate their defense, like the Los Angeles Lakers do. But again, it's just another quick game day breakdown. Los Angeles Lakers and the Pacers. We're going to go over the stats real quick before we get up out of here. We've already talked about Anthony Davis' stats. LeBron James, great game with 31 points. Quinn Cook, surprising breakout game with 21 points. For the Lakers, that's about all they got. CJ Warren, 39 points. For the Pacers, Brogdon chipped in 24, and Victor Oladipo 22, 7, and 5. So, hey, the three best players for the Pacers actually showed up today. Everybody else just simply played their role. Miles Turner, I would love to see him get a few more touches, but again, they simply needed him for his defense today. He is one of the better defensive bigs in the league. He did a great job today helping to contain Anthony Davis. So, again, great job to the Pacers today. Way to pull out this win. I know they're playing right now for seeding purposes, and with regards to the Lakers, they've already secured the #1 seed. So these games are meaningless, but I would like to see them finish out these 8 games with 1 or 2 wins, just so they can get some rhythm and consistency back. Hopefully they can get it figured out. Hopefully Frank Vogel can change up that offense and at least make it harder for teams to defensively scheme against that Laker offense. But as it stands right now, I just don't see the Lakers getting out of the second round. I think they will definitely get out of the first round. In regards to getting out of the second round, I don't think so. Another great episode, FYF Sports. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys got any comments to this video, make sure you comment down below. Please comment down below or hit us up on Instagram or Twitter. Whatever you do, again, just engage, actively engage. You reach out to us, again, we'll reach back out to you. But it's FYF Sports. Been another great game highlight video, and we out.